Welcome back to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
And here we are a few days late, but we are bringing you our version of our three wickets.
Ooh,
And I
India.
should really say our version. We're the only ones that do this. But Gabe, how are you doing?
I'm good. India versus England. The Thunderdome edition, because it was survival of the fittest out there, cousin. All right, scalps were a dropping. This short, very, very shortened test. I mean, 17 wickets fell, brother. 17 wickets fell in day two. It was ridiculous. And I remember in our predictions, I felt there's no way this thing goes 5 days. And tongue in cheek, I'm like, it could be an early, it could be a hot pocket. You know what I'm saying? It could be a hot pocket test match. And you're like, could it last 5 days? And he was like, nah, I don't think so.
Off.
But man, so many thoughts on this. So many thoughts on this match. Obviously, congratulations to India. Even though I was rooting for England, congratulations to India. Ultimately, no excuses. It is what it is. You got to show up. You got to play. Everybody shows up in the same conditions. And we'll talk about that when we get to what we learned. That's probably going to be the biggest section of this R3 wickets. Because, again, in a 2-day match, really, there's not a lot of content, I should say, for us to explore. So I'm just going to jump right ahead to what I liked as far as England is concerned. And I like that England made the change. They went for it, okay? Meaning, you didn't expect to see Bairstow and Root and Stokes and Archer. They brought most of their guys here, okay? Finally, they brought in Zach Crowley. They figured out, you know what? We got to make a change at the top of the order. And Zach Crowley proved them right? 53 runs in that first inning, was the highest scoring player in that first innings. He basically matched the entire England team. I'm just saying, there better not be any talk about Burns again. There better not be any. Burns' face better be on the back of a milk carton, bro. Bottom line, missing in action. We don't know where he's at. Zach Crowley needs to be.
Don't forget what he did in the second innings, though.
I mean,
he went down on the very first ball.
What did everybody do in that second inning? All right,
he went down on the very first ball. I mean, I'm just saying, you can't ignore that. I know what you're saying. 53, that's the highest score of England in any innings in that match. But, I mean, feast or famine, right?
It's feast or famine. But I'll take Zach Crowley, and I think he needs to just solidify that spot at the top of the order. Guys, we know what Burns is. It's done. It's done. It is what it is, okay? As far as that's concerned, I really can't. What did I like? There's not much else to like on the batting side, because literally the next highest scorer was Root at 17. Again, Zach Crowley outscored literally the entire team. He scored 53. The entire team scored 59 combined. That's a problem. That's a problem. But we'll talk about when I talk about what I hated on the bowling side. And again, this is going to be quick, guys, because it's ugly. It's ugly. All right. The bowling side, you got to look at yourself and say, all right, well, what's going on? Jimmy Anderson, I was calling for him. He had a great economy rate, 154. Could not get any wickets. And that's going to be when we're going to talk about how this test ball reacted, I should say, but still could not get any wickets. Jofra Archer, was a little expensive, but got himself a wicket. The guy's always a wicket taker. No matter where you put him, he's always a wicket taker. 5 overs, 2 maidens, 24 runs scored. He got himself a wicket. Jack Leach, legit. 20 overs, 2 maidens, 54 runs, 4 wickets. That's a 270 economy rate. And people are going to say, you're going to ignore Joe Root. Joe Root got himself 5 wickets, 126 economy rate. As you're watching it, you're like, is this really going on? What's going on with Joe Root? But a lot has to do with the ball and the grounds. But you know what? It is what it is. He got himself the run. So even Ben Stokes went out there, 633 economy rate. They were throwing anybody that could spin because they realized, oops, we planned incorrectly, because they played both. Like I said, they went for it. Both Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad and Jofra Archer were there. They were expecting swing. That's why they put 3 pacers in there. Didn't work out. I was wrong, because that's what I called in the prediction show. That's what a lot of experts were saying, and it just didn't play that way. That's what happens when you play on a new ground for the first time. But other than that, Nick, there's not a lot. Like you said, second innings, the highest score was Ben Stokes at 25 runs. You know what I mean? Joe Root at 19 runs. I mean, everybody else, it's ugly. They got bowled out for 81. And as far as the bowling is concerned, they all used were Leach and Root. And I mean, it's, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. Nick, what did you like on the India side?
All I know is Jimmy Anderson hit 600 wickets, right? Stuart Broad hit 500 wickets at some point this last 12 months. I didn't know Joe Root's going to be the next one to 500 wickets. This guy got a fifer in less than 7 overs. I didn't know he's the next best thing in England. Holy cow. Watch out. Jack Leach, he has been, in my opinion, the most impressive spinner. You got to have spin in India. He's been the most impressive, most consistent in this series. But you're right. There's not much to go. There's not much to go off right here. I mean, both sides combined scored less than 400 runs, and I love the runs. You're talking about they were going for it with Jimmy Anderson. They sent him out there for 13 overs. He couldn't get that wicket. I mean, Joe Root, a little over 6 overs, 5 wickets. This guy's insane, right? But I mean, you look at that, right? And there's 2 factors. We're gonna be talking about this maybe several times, maybe not. Who knows? But there's 2 huge factors in this match. And I'm not taking anything away. This is the beginning of the comments that's going to get Nick a whole lot of hate, but I got to be honest. And hopefully I'll be kind. But there's 2 main factors in this match that, in my opinion, went above the play. Had a big change. That is the pitch, and that is the pink ball. Those 2 factors played such a huge role in this match. And maybe a third factor would be like the impatience of the batsmen. I mean, they were on this difficult pitch, this different pitch, a pitch that was not meant for 5 days. I'm not saying collusion. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the way it was built, it wasn't going to last 5 days. I was way off on that. But these batsmen were like impatient. They were 21 of the 30 wickets were straight balls, Gabe. Is that patience right there? I don't think so. It was like they were like, I'm Babe Ruth. I'm going to call my shot. Oh, here's my shot. Oh, wait, I'm down and I'm out. Yeah. It was interesting. What did I like about this match? First of all, I like the fact that India won. Okay. Yeah. India looked very, very comfortable. They're at home, but this was a different type of pitch than I've seen, at least. Right. And they were able to look at the lay of the land. They were able to play with it. Again, 5 of them got out by Joe Root. So you can't tell me that they were just masters out there. But I'm glad that they won, because now they are 1 win or 1 draw away from the WTC. And I think technically they're number 1 in the standings right now, but they have this one last big match. That's the thing I really, really like. But what else did I like? Last time in match 2, I was saying, Ashwin, get me 11 wickets. Get me 11 wickets. Axar got me 11 wickets this time. And I know the guy's got skills. We saw him in Australia for a little bit, I believe. We saw him in the IPL, obviously, in T20. This guy's got skills. And, maybe his numbers are enhanced because of the pink ball and the pitch. But everyone bowled out there, right? And Axar Patel got himself 6 wickets. And he and the rest of the bowling attack, Ashwin got 3 in the first innings. Ishant Sharma got 1 in the first innings. That bowling attack made sure that England was not going to get comfortable, was not going to be able to get ground. Now, obviously enough, Zach Crawley, he got comfortable for a good little while. He got himself a half century, which was almost the highest score between both sides. But the other person I really liked was a guy named Rohit Sharma. This is where Nick was wrong. Always wrong, it seems, recently. Because I said, this guy's got to be dropped after the first match, I think it was, or whatever it was. This guy's been class ever since. This guy's in true form. You can't tell me he's not in playing shape right now. You can't tell me he's not fit, because this guy, he's comfortable. He's looking comfortable. He's looking confident. He got a 66 in that first innings on 96 balls. And then King Kohli, he got himself a 27, which on this pitch in this match should have been a 60 or 70. Rohit Sharma's could have at least been a century, at least, based on the factors right here. What else did I like? You're talking about the second innings. India, they did a great job in their batting inning. I'm not going to worry too much about that because they won by 10 wickets. What I really like on the bowling side in that second innings, again, Axar Patel, he gets a 6er and then he gets a 5er. Ashwin gets a 3er. That's not really a thing. And then a 4er. Not really a thing. I see why they don't call those things, because they didn't really work out too well. And then Washington Sundar, 4 balls, he got a wicket. I mean, the impatience was very, very interesting on both sides, but morely on England. And it was, I feel like overall this match, maybe now I'll save that for what I learned. But I love the fact that they won. But I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna give me a lot of hate too. I felt like it was kind of a cheap win. And probably because me and Gabe have been so spoiled, we've seen 4-day matches, 5-day matches. We saw that one 3-day match, right? In Chennai. That was a 3-day match, wasn't it? Or maybe it went to 4 days. Maybe it went to 3.5. I can't remember. But we've never seen a 2-day match before. And I know it's happened. I know it's happened in the history of time. And you can't tell me every time it happens. I don't care what the side is. I don't care who you're a fan of, what seat. You're thinking to yourself, well, that's interesting. How come everything went down so fast? How come everyone was just – the pink ball plays a big factor. The pitch plays a big factor. The impatience plays a big factor. Gabe, that's what I liked. Whole hodgepodge.
So, all right. What I already talked about what I liked. What did I dislike? I mean, and you kind of like already alluded to it. It's also going to be part of what I learned, and it was the impatience of the English batsmen. Now, I understand that they were in a tough situation because this is a brand new pitch, right? Never been played on. They don't know what it's going to play like. And then you got the added
beautiful stadium, by the way. Let's say that beautiful stadium.
Beautiful stadium. You know, you got the added pressure of the pink ball, which they're not sure if it's going to spin. They're not sure if you're going to get some swing. I mean, they're really confused. But again, impatience on both sides because there were early dismissals on both sides. But I think that it speaks more to the fact of what we talked about before, where they were like, well, does Pujara bat too slow, right? People were saying there's no chance Pujara is going to be able to play on CSK because he's just not a T20 guy, right? Well, that's a thing. It's a skill to be able to bat slow and have that patience. And these guys do not have that skill. We see the same thing in baseball, by the way. Batting averages over the last decade have plummeted. You'll never see another 400 hitter in baseball, ever. Right now, you got guys, 2 or 3 guys that'll bat 330, 340, 350, and that's like ridiculous. But you know, those guys that can grind out at bats in baseball just doesn't exist anymore because they're too concerned with hitting the long ball. You know, chicks dig the long ball. And it's the same thing here in cricket. They've got that T20 mentality, that ODI mentality where they're trying to score big and they don't have the patience to grind out, wear down those batsmen, wear out that ball so that then they can go ahead and attack. And again, I don't see that changing. Why don't I see that changing, Nick? Because you just got guys like Maxwell, and I'm an Aussie fan, but Maxwell just got $2 million. You think he's going to work on his T20 game. He's going to work on his T20 game because that's where he's getting paid. Bottom line. The same thing happens right now in baseball. People are like, well, why do these guys continuously just go for the long ball? Because if you hit 30 to home runs, you're going to get $10 million a year, $20 million a year, period. No questions asked. It's that simple. All right. So the game is dictating this. And I fear that cricket, just like baseball, is going to evolve because these younger batsmen know what gets them paid. Bottom line, they know what gets them paid. And it's going to be it's going to be hard for a lot of these guys coming up to say, you know what? First of all, it's hard for me to even make the international team, right? There's only a coveted amount of spots on there. There's a limited amount of coveted spots on there. So it's easier for me to play domestic and play in some of these leagues, whether it's the BBL, the IPL, the CPL, whatever, right? And I'm going to get paid more over there doing this. Bottom line, it's a business. So, you know, for me, what I did not like was the impatience. Literally, Zach Crowley, 84 balls in that first inning. 84 balls. The next closest was Ben Folks at 58 balls. After that, okay, Joe Root saw 37 balls. Everybody else was in the 20s, man. In the 20s. These guys have no patience, brother. No patience. I mean, talk about a Siblian performance, right? Siblian, he saw 7 balls in that first inning. What are you kidding me? And they're attacking. And again, don't tell me it was a spin because out of, like Nick already alluded to, 33 wickets, 21 of them were straight balls. That means that they were just aggressive. They're trying to go ahead and score. Maybe they figured I'm not going to last long on this pitch, so I need to take my shots where they're at. and they were tempted to doing so, but they're expecting spin. They're getting caught out by the straight ball, and that just shows a lack of patience. So I mean, on the batting side, what I disliked, everything is on the batting side. The lack of patience by the England batsmen, it was frustrating. And you look at it and you say, man, the most consistent guy both innings was Joe Root. He had 45 deliveries seen in the second inning, and in the first inning he saw, hold on, let me double check this. Yeah, 37 deliveries, right? Because even though Crawley saw 84 balls in that first inning, in the second inning he was out early, cousin, just like we talked about on a duck, cousin. You know what I mean? One ball, golden duck. But I mean, it's got to be the mentality that's got to change. And to me, I don't think it's going to. We're going to see more and more of this. And I think that what was a game we recently saw that was a test match as well? And we're like, is this test or is this? It wasn't. Oh man, I can't think. But guys are just being more aggressive the way they play, and you don't get those sibling innings, right? You don't get those Pujara-like innings from too many guys. Those guys are special. That's why they're the most important person on any cricket team, because they are able to stay up there, eat up deliveries, tire out the batsman, beat up the ball. But honestly, bro, if you're thinking that this is going to change somehow, you got another thing coming. You're going to see more and more as younger and younger players come in, because that's just the mentality. And I think it's a sign of the times, brother. It's a sign of the times.
As far as what I did not like, I'm honestly really struggling on this, because as far as an Indian team, what did I not like? I can't really choose too much. Yes, the obvious one for someone who's ever watched cricket and just look at the score said, oh, Pujara went out on a duck, and Pont went out for 1 on 8 balls, and Sundar a duck, and Axar Patel a duck. But pink ball, pitch, a whole lot of spinning. I mean, I don't really blame those guys, because I'm sorry, they weren't really needed in this match. And I think that's the main thing that I did not like, is who I did not see, for crying out loud. I want to double check, but I don't think we had. Okay, sorry, we had Bumrah for 6 overs. I was going to say, I don't think we saw Bumrah. We saw Bumrah for 6 overs in the first innings. Okay, we don't see him at all in the second innings. We didn't see. I don't think we saw. Yeah, we didn't see Ishant Sharma at all in the second innings. We didn't see Sundar in the first innings. We saw him for 4 balls in the second innings. But let me give a caveat to that. They weren't needed. They were not needed. And this is going to go back to what I like, because there's a lot of things I like that I didn't even mention, because there's so many thoughts I had initially. I loved the strategy with the bowlers by Kohli, by Shastri, by the bowling coaches, by everyone who said, let England do their thing. Let them send out Jimmy Anderson for 13 overs. All right. We're going to send our pacers out for 11 overs, but then we're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to see what's going on, because you had Axar and Ashwin go for 37, almost 38 overs in that first innings. And guess what? They kept him to 112. I love that. And there was no need to throw in a Sundar. I mean, I'm sure maybe to rest other 2 guys, but the 2 guys were doing their thing. And then in the second innings, when they bowled him out for 81, and this whole match was 140 overs, less than that. When they bowled him out, there was no pacers whatsoever. I thought in this condition, and I'm going to get to this a lot more in what I learned, I'm going to add a little more to what I liked. I liked how India played with this pitch. I like how India saw the surroundings, saw the situation. They tested the waters a little bit, and they said, okay, this is what's working. This is what we're going to go for. And if we get a duck by Pujara, I mean, how many games, Gabe, can you get a duck by Pujara? You get a 1 by Pont. You get nothing, literally nothing from your tail enders, and you win by 10 wickets. I mean, how often does that happen? That's just how India played England like a fiddle on this one, and you got to give them the love. So the main thing I disliked is this. This is the main thing I dislike. I am not calling for collusion at all. I'm going to say that again, because I think people were very confused by my thoughts on our live stream. I'm not saying that India did anything wrong here. They prepared a pitch, and they played cricket. I have no problem with that. My problem is I just feel like I was cheapened out of more tests. That's my biggest complaint. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, right? You can say pink ball, England and India don't play it too well. You can say pitch. You can say night. You can say whatever you want. I just feel like I was cheapened out of some more tests. And I'm not saying there was anyone behind the strings pulling the strings. That's just my major thing I disliked is I just wanted some more test cricket. But again, I'll take the win.
I was gonna say, was there a lot of questions, a lot of comments talking about collusion? That's the second time you mentioned that.
Not collusion, but I just wanted. There was a few people that were kind of upset, and it's fine. They were kind of upset with my, I think it was my lukewarm response to India winning because, I mean, this was like a third round knockout match for crying out loud.
Right.
There was a lot of good things in those first 2 rounds, but this was just a quick, easy haymaker here or there, and then all of a sudden we're done for crying out loud. So I want people to know that I'm super excited that India won.
Right.
I just wanted a lot more cricket.
So what you're saying, it was a Tyson fight, right? Back in the 90s, you paid $700 for a front row ticket, and before you sit down and go, what? Over 13 seconds? But that was the dumbest thing in history. And bro, people were paying ridiculous money, and as people are walking in, everybody's walking back up. What? It's over? 33 seconds? What, are you kidding me?
But there's something about being there to be able to see the electricity of someone knocking out someone. Ronda Rousey in her heyday before she got knocked out and her career was done, she was knocking girls out in the first round, and people were paying through the nose to see it. People were watching on TV like, this is going to be a first round knockout, is it not?
Bro, I stopped paying for pay-per-view fights. I forgot what fight it was, and I was like, I paid $54 for that.
It's crazy.
That's a minute and 34 seconds. A minute and 34 seconds. I can't do it.
They should prorate it, is what you're saying?
They should prorate it. Can I get some money back, yo? This thing was scheduled for 60 minutes, so can I get some money back? That's what I'm saying. But you know what? What did I learn? And I'm gonna tell you this right now, Nick. I mentioned this before where I did some research, right? And the pink ball was bought. The pink ball was introduced in order to compete with T20 because Tess was concerned that they weren't getting the views. And by compete with T20 means you get those night games. So now more people can come and watch some of the night games, the day-night billing, as they say. Here's the issue. I did some more research, and I just had to pull it up right now. That's what I was doing earlier, okay? People are acting shocked, like they haven't seen this already in pink ball. All right, pink balls are normally low-scoring affairs. Let me just go back to 2015, starting 2015. First 3 pink ball match, 3 days, Australia versus New Zealand in Adelaide. Was that a bad pitch? All right. Next, Dubai. They won by 56 runs. That went 5 days. That was Pakistan versus my West Indies. How dare you, Pakistan? How dare you? They beat my West Indies by 56 runs. That went 5 days. Australia versus South Africa. Australia won by 7 runs. That went 4 days. Brisbane versus Brisbane. Australia versus Pakistan. That one went 5 days. Then we have England versus West Indies. That went 3 days. Pakistan versus Sri Lanka, 5 days. Australia.
A lot of 5-day matches. I'm not going to lie.
There are. Wait. South Africa versus Zimbabwe, 2 days. There's another 2-day match there. Did Zimbabwe or South Africa do that? I'm just saying. New Zealand versus England. That one went 5 days. West Indies versus Sri Lanka, that one went 4 days. And Australia versus Sri Lanka, that one went 3 days. So the pink ball match, as people have struggled. In general, people have struggled. And let me see, Australia has been in 5 pink ball matches. That can't be correct. They won every one of them. Interesting. Sri Lanka has been in 3. They're 2-1. New Zealand in 2. They're 1-1. South Africa in 2, 1-1. England in 3, 1-2. Yep. Pakistan in 3. They're 1-2. Zimbabwe in 1. They've lost 1. And my West Indies have lost all 3. We're not playing anymore. We're not doing it. We're not
going to say, you're going to give me the example of Zimbabwe. Nothing against Zimbabwe fans, but
here's the biggest stat, Nick, that I saw with combined first innings 329. That's not one side, that's combined. Second innings 249. I mean, unless I'm reading this wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like honestly,
that's at least 600 runs though.
But that's combined both sides.
I know this is 400 runs combined.
Well, think about this. Usually you see 300 runs per side in most test match, right? At least 250 to 300.
300, yeah.
Exactly. So you're looking at one side scoring just, you know what I mean? One inning just scoring 600. So it's a lower scoring affair is what I was trying to say. And I think that it has to do with that pink ball. Again, it's going to move around funny. It's going to swing a lot. You also going to have the added advantage of spin depending on what pitch you're playing on. You know, something very interesting as well when pace versus spin day-night test. Ready for this? And there's 257 wickets taken with pace, only 95 with spin. That's what I'm reading off of this. So I'm like, what, huh? So with the pink ball, you get more wickets with swing than with spin. I mean, it's just a very, very, the data holds that it's gonna lead to a lower scoring game. Okay. And guess what? In baseball, I love low scoring games. I don't care. That's a come out. I was like, I'll take it. But the league hates it. The league hates it. They want those high scoring affairs and they want the home runs. So they've done what? Your Padres, who traditionally had a beautiful stadium, they bought in the fences, what, 2-3 times in the last decade?
Oh, at least 5 or 6.
They've juiced the ball. They've done everything they can to increase runs. It's even back.
Well, the Padres didn't juice the ball. Major League Baseball did.
No, Major League Baseball juiced the ball. Okay, they brought down the mound. People forget about that. The mound used to be higher, and they brought it down. I want to say it was like I can't remember how much they brought it down. I don't want to say.
You're talking like the 80s when they brought down the 80s or so?
Yeah, they brought the mound down because even back then they wanted a higher scoring match, and I think that. With cricket, everyone wants, including the fans, wants a higher scoring affair. Okay, Nick included. So I get that. Then maybe it's time to do away with the pink ball because if the idea is to compete with T20, which also brings in a lot of fans and IPL, right? Because you want that night crowd. Are you really competing them when you're producing games that are over in 2 or 3 days? When you're producing an average of only 329 in that first inning, that means both teams are about 150 apiece. You know what I mean? 180 apiece, really? That's T20 score. That ain't a cricket score. That's not a test score. So to me, I think it's par for the course, Nick. And I know what you were saying because I was like, how does this even help them compete? They want that nighttime venue, right? They want to be able to play at night, but if I'm a cricket fan right now I bought my ticket for day 3 or 4 or 5, I'm pissed. I hope there's refunds. I'm going to be like, hey, can I get a refund? Can a brother get his money back? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Just saying. That's what I learned.
What did I learn? So I'll say right now, like, I've been thinking about this match for a few days, and it's not why we delayed the R3 wickets. We just have been super busy. But I'll tell you right now, I've gotten some help from people on Instagram. And let me give a few shout outs. We got Abhishek D. And he was talking a lot about the pitch because I was so mad about the pitch in the live stream. He says the match in Chennai assisted more than this pitch did. The wickets were more due to the ball than the pitch. Keep in mind, the last innings of both teams in their last pink ball match, India 36 for 9 in the all out, and then 27 for 9 for England, 58 all out. The problem is pink ball skids and players do not have foot movement these days. If you can see old Indian players playing spin, see their foot movement, you would understand. So Abhishek gives a great point right there. I'm not going to claim it as my own. Thanks for that help. I have great conversations with him. You're talking about buying tickets, right? Yeah, our man Nanad, who's also a patron of ours, loyal viewer. He's Marshall Mathers of the stream. This guy, he has tickets for day 3. He has them in his hand still. He sent me a picture of it. Sorry.
No
Our
refund?
man, no, I don't know. You have to ask him that question. Dr. Vi, he had sent us he sent me some information about what Rohit Sharma and some other guys had said about the pitch. He said himself there's 3 factors: the pitch, the toss, and the weather. These 3 things affect the outcome of a test match very much, sometimes to an extent which takes away from the player's contributions. This was one of those instances. But I mean, he's talking about how there's all different factors. My point is this: what I learned is the pitch, no one's going to convince me it was not a factor. Absolutely. But when you have these factors like the pitch, the toss, the whatever it is, the pink ball, who is going to outlast it better? Who's going to survive it better? who's going to look at the situations and adapt to it. And in my opinion, India obviously did a much better job at that. And it was almost like, I mean, they put on a masterclass in one way, shape, or form. They won by 10 wickets. All right. They had 49 for no loss in their second innings. England was 88, 81 all out. So what I learned is that it's all about, it's just like in life. You have all these different factors that either you can't control or you can't control. How are you going to adapt? How are you going to react in those situations to see who's going to come out on top? And India did a great job of doing that here. You can't say England didn't try. They had brought in some more pace bowlers, like to your point. They had done these things. It just didn't work out for them. And so for me, again, I'm glad India won, but I just wish we had more of a test match. And I'll say right now, if cricket, international cricket, really wants Test to be T20, I'm not happy about that. I like T20. We have T20. Let T20 be its own. Let's let Test be Test. I think another thing that some of the people on Instagram had informed me about too is they feel a lot of players are more concentrated on T20 because it's just such a popular format of the sport right now that when they get into Test, they're just, maybe they still have that T20 mindset. Maybe it's harder to adapt or to go back to the Test ways. Either way, I'm so happy with the outcome. I'm so proud of Team India for adapting to what they did. I'm proud of England for giving their best shot. It just didn't work out. But I feel like I was left without. That's all. That's my response to it. Thank you, everyone that always comments, that gives us information, that helps us out with our understanding of the game as we continue to learn about it. We'll see what happens March 3rd when these two teams go against each other to see if India can secure their spot. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That's 6 runs.